Hello everybody and welcome back to week 3 of the NFL season. Today we will be going over the top stacks of the week. These are specifically for tournaments. You could use some of these quarterbacks in cash games, but really these are highlighting the top tournament stacks of the week. The bottom line is in tournaments, people are not stacking their quarterback with one or two of their pass catchers enough. The field stacks their quarterback with like one pass catcher about 50% of the time, which is also what the top 100 teams have been doing. So the field has been good at doing that, but what they have not been doing well is double stacking. Top 100 teams double stack over 40% of the time, and the field is only doing it at about 25% rate. So one of the biggest edges you can get in these tournaments is using a quarterback and then two of his pass catchers. So now let's get into some of these quarterback stacks. We will start off with a player I mentioned in my last video as also a sub 5% owned play, and that is Ryan Tannehill. And because you should be double stacking, you can get in both Brown and Julio. And what this is also going to do is get you off the popular Derrick Henry, which I can see him being popular this week going against the Colts. 25% of the field is playing Derrick Henry, and now you're playing low-owned Tannehill, Brown, and Jones. You're immediately getting unique, but you're also getting tons of leverage on the field as well. So this is a great stack. And also, what you should be doing when you stack your team is bringing back a player from the opposite team. My favorite bring back in this game is Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has like the most red zone attempts in the entire league. He still has not scored a touchdown, and I think he's priced lower than 7,000 now. He's still catching a lot of balls out of the backfield. I think he's a great bring back in this spot. Carson Wentz is injured. If he plays, he might rely on Jonathan Taylor a bit more. They might run the ball a bit more. And even if the rookie quarterback plays, they might rely on the run game even more because of that. And the reason why I like A.J. Brown and Julio Jones this week is if you just look at the past 2 weeks, what receivers have done to the Colts. You had Cooper Kupp go off against them, and then Tyler Lockett also went off against them. They're playing against Rock Ya-Sin at corner. Xavier Rhodes may be back this week, but you shouldn't be scared of him. If he's out, then it's like TJ Carey. They don't have a great secondary at all, and I think A.J. Brown and Julio can have great weeks this week. Going into my second favorite quarterback stack of the week, I like Daniel Jones, and then I like stacking him with Kenny Golladay, and then one of Saquon Barkley or Sterling Shepard. Now Golladay is still he's practicing. Even on Thursday was limited. If he doesn't end up playing, then I like Slayton a ton. So if Galladay's out, then replace him with Slayton and then double stack with either Saquon or Sterling Shepard, who has been playing absolutely amazing. The Falcons have a terrible defense. The Giants also don't have the greatest defense. And you can run this back with Calvin Ridley. You could run it back with, so let's see, if you had put Saquon, who could be popular this week, he's pretty good play. You have Daniel Jones, Saquon, and Golladay or Slayton, and then you can run it back with Ridley, Pitts, who I like a ton this week, now that people have played him 2 weeks in a row and he hasn't done a whole lot, still around the same price tag and at much lower ownership. I like Pitts a ton. And then even Mike Davis from this game I like. So this is a game that I'm going to be stacking maybe more than any other game. I don't like that Daniel Jones is getting a little bit more popular this week. People, I guess, are coming around to him. He's just been playing really good this year, and now he gets a terrible Falcons team. So there's a lot of ways you can stack this game, because now I'm going to go into the other side of this game, which I like to stack as well, and that is Matt Ryan. You can pair him with Pitts and Ridley, and then bring it back with any one of those Giants players that I liked with Daniel Jones, Kenny Golladay, Slayton if Galladay's out, Sterling Shepard or Saquon. This is like my favorite game stack, I think, of the week on both sides, because I like the quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. I don't think there's any other game that or no, the Chiefs and Chargers is the other game stack where I do like the quarterbacks as well on both sides of the ball. So actually, we'll get into that now. So there's a good game stack for you. So this Chiefs-Chargers game could be a crazy, crazy shootout. Now, with Mahomes this week, I like Tyreek Hill and also Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this stack. I never like putting Tyreek and Kelsey in the same lineup with Mahomes in these large field tournaments because look how expensive they are. So like if you took Edwards-Helaire out, you're using like $25,000 on just these three spots. In showdown slates, it sometimes works where you can get Mahomes, Tyreek, and Kelsey, but it's rare that in these large field tournaments that Tyreek and Kelsey can both hit like an absolute ceiling in a game. Usually it's like one of them and the other one, like last week we saw Kelsey have a good game and Tyreek didn't. The week before, Tyreek had a blow-up game and Kelsey didn't have a ceiling game. So usually it's one or the other. I don't like Kelsey as much this week. I won't have a lot of him. He's going against Derwin James, who in the few games that Derwin James has been out when the Chiefs have played him, Kelsey has had like 95 yards and a touchdown in all those games. With Derwin James, in the 3 games that Derwin James has played against the Chiefs, Travis Kelsey has been held for a combined 90 yards and 0 touchdowns. So Derwin James has done a great job of locking down Kelsey. And then Edwards-Helaire, who's going to be really popular this week, but rightfully so. He's very cheap. And then Tyreek Hill. If you don't go Tyreek, then I like McCole Hardman. So getting 2 in there with Mahomes is definitely ideal. And then you can run it back with a Keenan Allen, who is probably my favorite run back on the Chargers. I do like Mike Williams and Eckler. Eckler is my second favorite bring back from this game because the Chiefs have been getting beat on the ground. But Keenan Allen at the mid 6,000 range is a great price for him. So this is a good little game stack to get going here. These 4 players right here, and then on the other side of the ball, you got Herbert. So let's do a Chargers stack. You get Herbert. Let's go Keenan Allen, and then you can get Eckler, and then run it back with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let's go Tyreek. Tyreek's just always a great tournament play. Somehow he usually goes under-owned in these larger field tournaments. I don't know why. So yeah, Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, run it back with Tyreek. That does kind of hurt your salary a bit, so you might want to throw in, instead of Tyreek, you could put in Hardman or Edwards-Helaire, who is cheap. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about it, but this side, the Herbert, Eckler, Allen on the Chargers side, and then the Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek on that side. But they're all great plays. Stack this game up in a bunch of different ways. So now that we've gone over some of these double stacks, like I said, the top 100 lineups still only use single stacks about 50% of the time. So it's not always that you need a double stack. It's just a better way to get leverage on the field. So now some of my favorite single stacks of the week would be Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett has come off of 2 incredible games. He's a great player. He'll probably be more owned than DK Metcalf this week, which should never happen. DK Metcalf is a better player than Tyler Lockett. He's going up against this Minnesota Vikings defense that hasn't been the greatest. They were supposed to be better this year, but last week we saw Kyler Murray and Rondale Moore shred that defense. So Russell Wilson to DK is a great tournament stack, and then running it back with Dalvin Cook or Justin Jefferson. Seattle has been giving it up to these pass-catching running backs. Like Derrick Henry is not usually a pass-catching running back. He caught 6 balls last week. Week before that, Jonathan Taylor caught 6 balls. And they've been getting beat on the ground game. Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the NFL. So just he's a great play here. Justin Jefferson I like more than Thielen. So he would be my favorite receiver run back in this stack. This next one is, I don't know how popular this is going to be yet. I think people are usually hesitant to play these rookie quarterbacks in their first start, and it's always better to be ahead of the curve on these rookie quarterbacks, especially these mobile ones. So like when Trey Lance finally starts, it's going to be good to play him before he gets popular and has that big game. Justin Fields, mobile quarterback, going against Cleveland, who Cleveland does have a pretty solid defense, but we saw the Texans kind of keep it close with them, and then we saw the Chiefs score like over 30. So they are beatable, and I like pairing Justin Fields with, this is another single stack game because he's a mobile quarterback, so Fields can get to his ceiling off of rushing touchdowns where you don't need his pass catchers to also hit their ceiling. So Allen Robinson, obviously, I don't know what the Red Rocket, whatever his name is, Andy Dalton, is doing. He doesn't look Allen Robinson's way. He has, 4 targets last game. Robinson is one of the best receivers in the entire league, and he's not getting the ball. I think Justin Fields will actually look towards Allen Robinson, which is a crazy thing to say, but it's just crazy that they aren't already doing it. So I love this stack, and then bringing it back with Odell Beckham. So he should be playing this week. I don't like Chubb or Hunt in this game. The Bears have been pretty good against the run, and they've been beatable through the air. So this is a great low-owned tournament stack. You get Fields, one of the best receivers in the game, and Allen Robinson, and then Odell, who, when he's healthy, has been one of the greatest receivers in football. So he is always capable of having a huge game, especially at that low 5,000 price tag. And my last stack that I'll go into, everybody loves this player, but it's just kind of an honorable mention, is Kyler Murray and Hopkins. Somehow Hopkins is going to be low owned this week, and I don't know why. They're going against the Jaguars, who are possibly the worst team in the NFL. Urban Meyer, you should probably just go back to OSU. This is just a bad team. Kyler Murray has been the #1 quarterback in fantasy football when he's healthy since going into last year. Hopkins is one of the top 3 best receivers in the NFL, and you could have you could have this stack at possibly low ownership, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think people expect a blowout, which is certainly possible, but if the Cardinals blow out Jacksonville, then that means somebody did very well on the Cardinals, and I could definitely see it being Hopkins. I think Rondale Moore will be more popular than him this week, which is crazy to say. Rondale Moore is a great player, but coming in higher owned than Hopkins is pretty crazy. So getting Arizona. The thing is, I don't really like game stacking this much, so usually this is the one game where I may just do it like a naked stack where I have Kyler, Hopkins, and don't bring it back from anyone on Jacksonville. Marvin Jones is probably your best option, but even him, I just don't like it that much. So this is one game where I may just do a single stack. Again, Kyler is very pricey, so I like some of these other quarterback stacks that I mentioned more because you're also able to stack the game up more, whereas this one, I don't think it's a shootout or anything like that. So a lot of these tournament winners, you see the games go into a complete shootout, and that's why there's like 4 players from one game in these winning tournament lineups. So it's about finding those games, the ones that shoot out and go lower owned. But I hope this was helpful and that you found some good tournament stacks this week. Please comment your favorite stack of the week. Leave a like. Please subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. And I'll see you tomorrow for the final look at the main slate, my favorite plays at each position. I'll see you tomorrow.